All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? I'm going to be honest. This question, more than a lot of basketball questions, bothers me. This one upsets the kid. I'm going to tell you why. The who's better conversation between Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan, to me, has always been a conversation where experts, they give Tim Duncan the edge. Experts do. Hoopers and fans most likely give Kobe Bryant the edge. Now, here's what I say to guys who give Tim Duncan the edge. First and foremost, I don't want to take anything away from Tim Duncan. One of the greatest of all time. Like, you're talking about Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's got 5 rings, right? Tim Duncan is a guy who not only mastered when I think Tim Duncan, I think the shot off the glass, right? Like, I think that unstoppable bank shot. Tim Duncan has not only mastered that, at its apex, he can really defend as well, right? Like, he mastered that shot off the glass, and he can really defend. He could go out and get you 21 and 16, light work, right? Light work. Tim Duncan can do it. Tim could do it. I don't want to take away anything from Tim Duncan. But we ain't going to act like there were other factors present in Tim Duncan's championship run. So let's have an honest conversation, a little side conversation real quick. Is it safe to say, though Phil Jackson has more rings, he's not a better X's and O's coach over Greg Popovich? Like, Pop won freaking 50-something odd games with San Antonio last year with just LaMarcus Aldridge last year, right? And an old Ginobili, Tony Parker, and a young Patty Mills, but he ain't that guy. Like, Pop is a better X's and O's coach than Phil Jackson. And the reason why I brought that up is because we always say, you know, Tim Duncan had Pop, so what? Kobe had Phil. There's a difference. Phil, obviously an all-time coach, 11 rings? I love Phil. You know, I love Phil the coach, but let's call it what it is. He didn't get this game like Greg Popovich did. Pop is on a whole nother level with it. And Phil needed top of the line talent. That last ring that Pop got, 2014 edition in San Antonio, let's call it what it was. Tim Duncan wasn't the guy he used to be. Tony Parker wasn't the guy he used to be. Manu Ginobili wasn't the guy he used to be. Kawhi was not even in his prime yet. Danny Green was shooting the lights out of the ball. I'm just saying, Pop coached that team against LeBron James and the Miami Heat at the time. Yo, we got to give Pop more credit. And I think we got to let that be known in this conversation of Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant. Tim Duncan, though he was phenomenal, he had 2 other guys that were, to me, A-level guys. Both of those guys are going in the Hall of Fame, in Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. At his disposal for pretty much 4 of his 5 rings, he had those 2 guys, right? And the ring that he didn't win with TP, he had David Robinson, I'd say top 30 all-time big man. Listen, man, Tim Duncan, again, I don't want to take anything away from him, but I want to start this conversation after 2003. After the Lakers won their last championship with Kobe and Shaq in that era. Who's better, Kobe or Tim? Now, if you want to play that game, technically Tim Duncan won more rings after 03, right, than Kobe did, right? That number's like, what, 3-2? Something like that? 4-2. Actually, it's like 4-2. But in my opinion, Tim Duncan had more help. From that spot on, Tim Duncan overall had more help. If Kawhi makes the Hall of Fame, if he continues to play at the level that he's playing, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Tim Duncan played with 3 first ballot Hall of Famers. Yeah, those are 3. I think they're going to get Tony Parker in first ballot. Those are 3 guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famers. Pau Gasol, to me, is going to get in the Hall of Fame. He might be first ballot. He might not. Other than that, name a Hall of Famer that Kobe played with that was in their Hall of Fame spot in their career, right? Like, Kobe ain't have no other guys in that. And I think too many times people give Tim Duncan the edge in this conversation, and I just don't think it's fair. Kobe did more for the league. Kobe was a guy night in, night out He didn't have a Ginobili to take an end-of-the-game shot for him like Tim Duncan some nights did. And again, there were nights where Tim Duncan was the guy taking that shot. I'm just saying more times than not, the Spurs roll with a perimeter guy to take those late-game shots. Hell, even Bruce Bowen can knock down a clutch corner three. Even Steven Jackson, if needed, can make a play for you to knock down a big shot for you. Man, Kobe ain't have guys like that. It was always on Kobe to be the guy down the stretch. And I think it's anything but disrespectful if guys are saying Tim Duncan was better than Kobe. I'm sorry. He was not. Now, if you're going to tell me that Tim Duncan was more coachable than Kobe Bryant, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Look, it didn't seem like it was easy to play with Kobe Bryant. Not only did he push his guys to be the best them, but if you wouldn't be the best you, Kobe would get it done himself. That's not what you want as a teammate, right? You want a guy who's going to be able to find a way no matter what to get the most out of his teammates. And more times than not, we feel as if though Kobe didn't do that. Tim Duncan might have did that in a very different way. He showed by action. He didn't talk much. He wasn't the vocal guy. He was more of a, I'm going to show you with my play type guy, which I respect. I respect Kobe as well, how he did it. But in the grand scheme of things, I understand why you would tell me Tim Duncan's much more of a guy you want to play with. But in regards to who's better, who brought more to the game, bruh, everything Tim Duncan could do outside of the blocks, Kobe could do. Now, he didn't master the bank shot like Tim Duncan did, but his mid-range game was beautiful. And Kobe could fade that bad boy away. Now, to throw in the fact that Kobe had a three-point game and a real perimeter game and could pass better than Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan was a very good passer, it means something to me. And for me, this conversation ends with Kobe Bryant. He gets my check mark. With these two all-timers, both 5 rings at their disposal, both legends. Tim's going to go in that Hall of Fame in the next couple of years. Kobe, obviously, in the next 3 years, he's going in as well. This is a phenomenal basketball debate, and I'm loving having it here, but I'm rolling with Mamba over the big fundamental. That's just my opinion. I want to know yours. Who was a better overall basketball player? Let's start it after 04. Let's do that. After 04, who's a better overall basketball player? Kobe Bryant or Tim Duncan? Please talk to me in the comment box below. Tell me your opinions on this one. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO'S.
Mr. TALIAFERRO'S.
Mr. TALIAFERRO'S.
Mr. TALIAFERRO'S.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO'S.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO'S TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO'S TV. Here with the Triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.